So, good morning. This is JP, the Disciple Critic. I'm formerly from copblock.org, Keen Copblock, New Hampshire Regional Copblock, New England Cop Chases, and Northeast Watchdogs. I've done work for all those agencies, groups, or organizations. I've did stuff with Peaceful Streets, Cop Watch. Also, um, for the past 20 years, I've been going all over New England, in New York, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, going after crooked police. Um, I've been doing it before the auditors. I was doing it before content creators became content creators. And in like 2012, 2013, somewhere around there, I was told I could throw it on YouTube. So I started YouTube channel. And I have like over 600 videos of going after police, going to the traffic stops, having bad interactions, good interactions. So I got kind of a following in my community. I have a lot of friends on my Facebook page, and they've been blowing me up since yesterday about this shooting that happened in Minnesota. Extremely troubled by it. I've watched it about 12 to 13 times. Fast motion, slow motion. I've zoomed in on it. I watched it from an angle, from this angle. I watched it from this angle, and this most popular one here. I saw this angle. So first and foremost, I want to outline the fact that these clowns that are dressing up like stolen valor wannabe soldiers in U.S. streets, being militarized against the Posse Comitatus Act, they absolutely have no right and no jurisdiction to stop and hold a U.S. citizen. Under the guidelines and statutes and the legislative law that allows ICE to be ICE when they were formed in their mandate, they're only supposed to use civil immigration enforcement, and hence the word civil. So they have no jurisdiction over this woman. She is 110% a United States citizen. She was born in Colorado. And on top of that, she's a mom with 3 kids. And I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Like some people are mad. Some people, like, you go on Fox News, they're making this lady sound like she's a terrorist when the terrorists and the insurgents are right there with guns and stolen valor, thinking, dressing up like they're soldiers, um, and thinking they're in the middle of Fallujah or Tikrit or Ramadi, Iraq. It's disgraceful. This administration, and believe me, I'm not a Demnut. I'm not a liberal. I'm actually like a Reagan Bush era Republican. I'm part of a group called RAM, which is Republicans Against MAGA. I am a Christian. I believe in Jesus, but I do not believe in Christianity. I think the white nationalist Christian movement is sickening. And I want to throw up in my mouth every time I hear them speak. Um, they follow and idolize an antichrist with a red hat that's been proven to be an SAist and a pedo. Um, Proven fact. Hundreds of videos and hundreds of pictures with him having young girls sitting on his lap like he's Santa. It just makes me sick to my stomach. Um, he's sickening. And the CCC is what I call it. I call it the cult clown cabinet. Everybody around him. And you can't talk to someone that's that's a MAGA T, A, R, D. You can't talk to them. You can't debate them. You can't talk to them. They put blinders on, and you just can't reason with them at all. And they seriously sound like they have a second grade aptitude. I'm not even lying. I'm not kidding. They have no idea what they're talking about. They can't name one legislative thing they like about their idol. They can't. They just can't do it. Um, and it's a disgrace to my party, and it's a disgrace to God, and a disgrace to this country. And that administration weaponized and militarized ICE. Now, let me tell you the law that legislatively makes ICE ICE. So I'm going to minimize this for a second. I am going to go to minimize this. I'm going to go here. I'm going to pull up the legislative law. I think it's this one. If it can start, my kids added games to my computer, so this thing's running mad slow. I need to get rid of these games. So it's called, this is the second one. Hold on. Here it is. The INA, which is the Nationality Act, the Immigration Nationality Act, defining their limited scope for civil. Okay, read this. It defines their limited scope for civil enforcement against aliens and non-citizens. Okay, I want to emphasize that right there. Limited and civil. Okay? Them wearing 3-point harnesses, Kevlar vest. I don't know if you guys know what a 3-point harness is. It's what carries your M4, like right here. So you can just pull it off your body and focus on your target, and you can leave it there and go hands-free. A 3-point harness is what keeps it there. They have those Kevlar helmets, masks, and full military packing gear. Like, they're like Devon Grew. I don't know what you guys, if you guys don't know what Devon Grew is, it's SEAL Team 6. But they're fake wannabe, stolen valor clowns in costumes. I really highly doubt they have the aptitude to be a real soldier in any aspect of the word. I think they're a bunch of losers, to be quite honest. To follow orders from a satanic Antichrist idol, yeah. Anyways, that's that. So this leads me back to this video. And I'll tell you, the biggest problem with this video is they are in a place where they do not have a right to be. There's a bunch of scopes and law that they're breaking right here. 1, they have no jurisdiction over U.S. citizens. 2, if they did, they need a warrant from a judge, which they did not have. 3, they have to have a reasonable suspicion that an active federal crime is being committed or has committed. Okay? Federal. And they did not. Okay? They were pissed because she cut them off. They got out in a pissy mood, and they wanted to stop her because their egos were hurt. That was the main purpose of this interaction right here. I don't understand where these MAGAs are coming from, calling her a terrorist, running over, law enforcement officers, and she's a domestic terrorist trying to run them over. No. Okay, first of all, if you look at this right through this window, if you zoom in, you see her head facing the guy that's in her window. She has no idea. This guy to the left and kind of like near the front of her car is there, because this guy and this guy are yelling at her. And that's the thing cops do. You show up at a scene, one of them's telling you to put your hands up, the other one's telling you to stay quiet, the other one's telling you to, grab your ID, the other one's telling you not to move, and they're not paying attention to each other. And 90% of the time, you're going to get shot because you're listening to the first one you're hearing, and he's telling you to put your hands up. You're putting your hands up. This one behind you is telling you not to move, and he's going to pop 3 shots at you because they're already causing confusion here by all 3 of them talking at once. One of them's telling her to get out, the other one's telling her to stop, the other one's telling her she's under arrest when they have no jurisdiction to arrest her to begin with. They had no warrant. They had no reason to be there for her. They weren't there for her. She was pulling out. In fact, she waved the first car full of ICE agents by her so she can get out. She actually wanted to take a left, but she saw, like, if you see a bigger version of the video, especially this one behind her, two ICE cars parked in the middle of the street, side by side. Right at that moment, she decided to turn the wheel because she can't go that way now because it's blocked off. So she decided to go around. So she's scared. They're not making any sense. They're causing confusion. They're in a place where they do not have a right to be.
30 this morning.
They're basically breaking their premise of the law of being in a place where they don't have a right to be. They have no jurisdiction to stop her. No warrant to stop her. No reason to stop her. No reason to block her. No reason to talk to her. She's a U.S. citizen. So I'm going to play it.
After Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara said he was concerned someone...
So he's coming out all nice. This one, I don't know if you heard the beginning. This guy's talking, so you can't hear it. There's like hardly any audio. He tells this guy, calm down, it's okay. These two, okay, she's turning the car right here. I don't know if you can tell, but right to the left of this truck, another one pulls up and blocks the road. She sees that. She is not concentrating on who's to the right of her. The one that shot her is coming from the right of this video. Okay?
Could be killed while federal agents were in...
He beelines it to her. So she's back. She's got her backup lights on now. She's backing up. Nobody behind her. Again, she did not see this idiot get out of his car right here. He's getting out of his car. Okay? To the right. This one right here. Parked illegally, blocking traffic in middle of the road with no emergency lights on. So he's violating the law. These guys are violating the law. There's no emergency lights on these vehicles right here. She doesn't know their purpose. She doesn't know what the hell they're doing. They're all screaming at her like dogs. Like, see you next Tuesday, bags.
In Minnesota, it happened.
He tries to open the car. Okay? Violation of the Fourth Amendment right there. You can't enter the car without a traffic stop being conducted. There's no traffic stop. There's no lights behind her. There's no lights here, and he doesn't have lights here. Okay? People are yelling. She can't hear what this guy's saying. He's trying to get in without a warrant. They don't even have a warrant to detain the lady. So, Mrs. Gnome, sorry to tell you, you're an idiot. Okay, Mrs. Fake. In one state, she's wearing a hard helmet, making believe she's an electrical person. Another, if she's in Texas, she's wearing a cowboy hat next to horses. When she's up north, she looks like she's from the Midwest. And when she's in the East, she's wearing sports gear. Like, she's fake. She's an absolute fake human being. With fake lips, fake butt, and Trump only put her in there because he's probably having sexual relationship with her or something. It's gross and disgusting. Clown cabinet. I call them the CCC. The cult clown cabinet. This is horrible. They don't have a right to do any of this stuff. She's a U.S. citizen. They have no jurisdiction to be there. So no lights, no jurisdiction, no warrant, no suspicion of a crime being committed or has been committed federally. So they really have no right to be there at this point. Again, she's backing up away from the officer with her wheel turned to the left. She's still looking at this guy trying to get her in her door. And mind you, all three of them are yelling at her at this point. If you look at the video that came from behind it, it actually shows all three of them trying to give her directions and orders all at the same time. She's thinking about her children. She's thinking about herself. She wants to get the fuck out of there because she's scared. Okay, she's scared at this point. None of them are making clear or convincing evidence that there needs to be a stop here at all. No lights, no jurisdiction, no federal warrant, no apprehension warrant. Okay? She's a U.S. citizen, no jurisdiction. So by law, under civil rules of civil procedure, they are in a place where they don't have a right to be. This car, no lights, no detainment, no stop. They can't make traffic stops, by the way. They don't have a right to be here. They're in a place where they don't have a right to be. In fact, he's violating traffic laws without his emergency lights on, parked in the middle of the street. And so aren't these two idiots. Okay? So they're not even supposed to be there. That's before the shooting, by the way. Okay? This is all before that. This is my breakdown, my professional breakdown of what I know what the law is. Okay?
Just before 9:30 this morning.
Okay? This guy shows up out of nowhere. Now, the dude that shoots her, she's turning away from him. He's moving in front of her, which is just stupid. The guy's an absolute tar tool going in front of a vehicle. This guy's still talking to her, trying to get in her car. Okay? She doesn't even see the dude in the front. So her intent is not there either. Okay? Far from a terrorist. This is a U.S. citizen, and we should be protecting her. He moves out of the way, pops 3 shots. Some people said they heard 5. Some people heard 4. It went bang, bang, bang. Okay? And he's holding it with one hand. So it's loose, not contained. This guy's training sucks. He's a hack. An absolute hack. A 5-year-old in Texas can shoot better than that. Though he's recklessly using his firearm.
Said he was concerned someone could be killed while federal agents were in Minnesota. It happened just before 9:30 this.
There he is. She was still backing up by the time he pulled his gun. She's still looking at him. He's gonna shoot her anyway. This gung-ho douchebag is going to shoot her anyway. Okay? He's got his gun. Now watch his left hand get off of his gun, and he just fires like he's some gang member in, in like Washington D.C. or something. Watch.
This morning.
Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4 agents murdering a U.S. citizen without a warrant, without emergency lights on, without the ability to detain, without the ability to make a traffic stop, without the jurisdiction of stopping a U.S. citizen, and a U.S. citizen, 37-year-old Renee Good, with 3 children. They lost their mom over a bunch of wannabe pusswags that violate the Stolen Valor Act on a daily basis, thinking they're soldiers, weaponized and militarized on the street. So that's my lawful background. Please forgive me if I sound pissed. I'm very pissed. I have not jumped out on the political spectrum on my channel or on the blogs that I belong to at all until today. And this is just absolutely horrible. I understand that people have their right way of thinking, their left way of thinking. My personal belief, I like to take bits and pieces of the good out of each one. Come together, talk, have conversations, and see what we agree on, and then come to the table and put those agreements on the table, like Reagan did. Reagan brought his cabinet together. Bush was just hated by the Dems so much that a lot of things didn't get done. And that's what's going on now. the Republicans hate the Dems so much that nothing's getting done, hardly anything's getting done. And I don't think that's the correct way to run a country, especially weaponizing and being crybabies and going after like political opponents and media people speaking against them. And you got to be very careful. I call him the Antichrist because the Antichrist puts his name on towers, exalts himself, includes himself in every aspect of the word, and say he is involved and did it. And not only that, he says it's the best way that did it. You got to be aware of things like that. And a lot of these Christians, whether they believe in Jesus or not, they just out of their effing mind, dude. They're demonic, demonized followers of an idol, of a satanic idol. It's a freaking cult, dude. Hands down cult. You know? And I confuse people. I confuse people a lot. I'm a Reagan Bush era Republican, evangelical, that voted for Obama. Wrap that around your head. Because he was the better choice at the time. And I like the dude. And he can ball pretty good too. He can play basketball pretty good. What got me with him was the story about him leaving the White House at 2 a.m. in the morning and going to the Air Force base, and he stood salute for 45 minutes for fallen soldiers coming off of the plane. And it was a strong standing salute right next to soldiers, and he stayed there for 45 minutes with his hands saluted. You'll never see this douchebag do that. Not even a long shot. He'd rather go to Mar-a-Lago and play around with 12 and 13-year-old girls. So that's my aspect. But this situation right here is horrible. So my summary of the legal breakdown is, like I said before, they have no jurisdiction to stop and hold a U.S. citizen without an actual warrant. It's a 21A form or something like that, from a federal judge. And that's usually really exigent circumstances, like someone trafficking or something like that. This lady is obviously not a trafficker. She's trying to leave. It's 9 o'clock in the morning and she's trying to leave. These guys just showed up out of the blue and killed her. This lady's children will never see her again. Mommy's not coming back home. That's the reality of this. And the lack of oversight and the lack of accountability for this is absolutely, it makes me want to throw up in my mouth. That's how bad this is. I am so angry at this, dude. They had no right to be there. So they were in a place where they had no right to be. No blue lights, no emergency lights, no warrant, no jurisdiction over U.S. citizens. Like, there's a bunch of things wrong here. And God forbid, the Dems take over the House and Senate, which is probably going to happen. Every single one of these guys are going to be in federal court facing charges. Guaranteed. And these guys need to do an outlook and be like, wait a minute, we're not going to be here very long. And I wouldn't be surprised if the constituents and the majority of the people in the United States right now will abolish this agency altogether. I'm for it. I'm for it. I'm all for it. I'm for it. Stolen valor, clowns. But that's my synopsis. You guys have a great day, great week. I'll be coming up with more videos soon. This is the Disciple Critic. And, like always, I'll see you on the rewind.